17 minutes past the hour right now, and Donald Trump is in Mar-a-Lago. He's reacting this morning to the death of Cuba's Fidel Castro in a very short, simple tweet saying only Fidel Castro is dead. The exclamation point there is what may be most notable.
You might remember during the campaign, Trump threatened to undo efforts by President Obama to bring the U.S. and Cuba closer together. Here's what Trump said in September.
The president's one-sided deal for Cuba and with Cuba benefits only the Castro regime.
Joining us live now from Palm Beach, CNN national correspondent Ryan Nobles. And Ryan, how are things there this morning in the aftermath of this news?
Well, Martin, things here in Palm Beach are very quiet. As you mentioned, just that one line from Donald Trump in a tweet, much different from the reaction that we're seeing from other world leaders who have given statements that are a few paragraphs long, explaining how they feel about the death of Fidel Castro. Donald Trump just saying Fidel Castro is dead with an exclamation point at the end of that sentence. And we're told by transition staff that's all we should expect from the president-elect today. No further paper statement or anything on camera. But of course, this begins to raise questions as to how the Trump administration will handle this relatively new deal that the United States has with Cuba. Of course, there is still an embargo in place, but the Obama administration, through executive orders, has attempted to normalize relations between the two countries. And as you guys pointed out, Donald Trump was very critical of that deal during the campaign. Here's what he said in Miami back in September.
All of the concessions that Barack Obama has granted the Castro regime were done through executive order, which means the next president can reverse them. And that I will do unless the Castro regime meets our demands. Not my demands, our demands. You know what the demands are. Those demands will include religious and political freedom for the Cuban people and the freeing of political prisoners.
And there are two important things to pull out of that quote from Donald Trump. The first, of course, being that, yes, because these were all put in as executive orders without congressional approval, he has the power to pull them back. But the other point is that Donald Trump isn't necessarily opposed to the idea of normalizing relationships with Cuba. He just thinks the American people and the Cuban people deserve a better deal. So this will be an important policy issue to track in the early days of the Trump administration. Martin and Christy.
All right, Ryan, real quick.